This is our success, isn't it? We have heard, I'm sure, many classes what it means success. That is our birthright. But it's one thing to have understanding, and it's another thing to have awareness. One thing is to know, and another thing is to practice, right? And the aim of all Baba's teachings and Baba's care for a soul at confluence age is to have a stable strength inside. We can say this is the first success. This spiritual energy has to be so strong and stable that it cannot be affected by anything, not even the old self can really influence this pillar of spiritual strength. But we need to have the strength to be able to cope with all the different things that come in front of us. Because if one negative thing penetrates the soul, then we know that it's going to affect the service that is around. We have heard so many times that Baba says that according to the drama, he's the one who purified the world, and then he invites us to be his instruments, right hands, helpers, whatever he says, for that purification. And he makes us his helpers, which is also a success as we come and what he makes us total trust. When I heard Baba said that, then I realized this is what purity and humility is all about. But there is also the internal success, which means to know myself so well and to know my destiny so well, to be aware of who I am and to value who I am, and also to value the task that is given to me according to drama. But at the same time, to be able to remain completely detached. If we attach to what we are, then there are many problems, right? If we don't know who we are, then there are also many problems. So Baba has given the soul understanding. And the basis of that understanding is acceptance. The knowledge of who I am the soul, this is the end of the time, and we are an instrument. Baba has given us many blessings, and we have also received many blessings through all of us, through our seniors, through him in the Murlis, and we understand them. But it's also very important to accept them. So understanding and acceptance creates that faith within. How many times Baba says, faith in the intellect brings success and victory, brings victory. But what does faith mean in a practical way? Because faith is a very concentrated and determined positive energy. He said that faith makes impossible possible. When there is this power of faith, it means that the soul has overcome the barriers of how and why. It doesn't need to go into the processes of many things. But when there is not the power of faith, then there is more need of process and detail analysis, right? But power of faith starts with acceptance of the understanding that Baba has given me. And once I accept it, then this faith allows me to go through anything without thinking too much. And together with that, since I belong to Baba and I belong to his task, then as Karan Karamanhar, he is the one who moves everything. And he will enable the soul to move in whichever way the service is asking for it. Also, success, this is for myself, has a lot to do with surrender. I am surrender and I belong to the One. One of the biggest problems with many people, even with our spiritual family, is that sometimes they don't feel that they belong, right? And when there is this feeling of not belonging, then it causes a lot of sorrow until I really cancel the old body conscious contract of belonging to outside, either people or a role, until I remove that dependence and that need. It's very difficult to feel a nourishment and a nourishing belonging. But when my relationship with Baba is very functional and alive, we need to feel that is meaningful, then I, the soul, am able to take whatever I need from him. Then this is a real belonging. When I feel true belonging, this is going to make very easy for me also to belong to the drama, accept the drama. So I don't depend on results to feel success. But Baba said today, I can see things like sorrow and happiness and cold and hot, heat, and respect and disregard with tolerance and with equality. So the soul also belongs to the drama. Everything is good. As Brother Brish Mohan used to say, for us, good is good and bad is good, right? Because the scenes of drama are unpredictable. The actors in the drama have moods and they change. And if I expect them to make me feel to belong, then I'm going to be disappointed. That success where I feel everything fits in its place. Because I have surrendered, I give myself to the One. Because it's the most valuable partnership I have found now. So this is a matter of understanding. And Baba has given me this. Also, this surrender is a part of successful remembrance. I'm not obliged to remember. For me, can be natural, then it's successful. This success in remembrance is not just thinking of Baba and his qualities, but is being in the awareness and having that experience. For that type of remembrance to function and succeed, it requires the soul to surrender and also being absorb. When I feel absorbed in one. Then Maya can maybe come, but the soul understand its relationships, its partnership, its aim, and it understands that this is its focal point. It may change. Sometimes checking is part of our overcoming something. And this is my success. That no matter what, even if I check, the boat may rock, but it doesn't sink. So this is part of my learning and my success. Another aspect of success is the consciousness of being a trustee. Nothing is mine. Do you feel like that? Nothing is mine. We lose achievements or attainments, even the feeling of moving forward, the feeling of being successful due to three things related with this thing of trustship and trusted. Is when there is reject, neglect, and we become attached. These three things can pollute this clean feeling of trusteeship. Because for the soul to experience that is moving forward and nothing belongs to me, one of the main virtues is detachment. Do you agree? We need detachment. But detachment is not just based, or is not based, in fact, on rejecting, not is being cold, no? To someone or something. Real detachment comes when a soul is able to integrate. I integrate spirit and matter. I integrate alokik and lokic. So trustship is when a soul who has this talent of integrating without becoming dependent or influenced. Sometimes when there is fear, or I may get attached, or I don't like this person, or I don't like this thing, then I reject. It could be a very subtle thing, and it may not happen verbally or consciously, but it happens, and we know. The other thing is neglect, which sometimes is even worse than reject. When we are rejecting, you can be aware of it. But when you are neglecting, you may not become aware of it. I'm neglecting to study properly or to put my mind in concentration. For example, I sit in meditation, but it's not real concentration. It's just a type of realization, no? Relaxing. So I am neglecting what I'm really supposed to be doing. Today, Baba said about laziness. So this is a kind of laziness of the intellect. I am in trustship of mind as well. I am in trustship of this body. It's not just the trustship of physical things. And when there is neglect, when there is a type of laziness, of carelessness, then subtle diseases come up, and it doesn't show itself until it is quite further down the line. And then it takes a lot of more time to get rid of it. No, we know. Initially, the reason that we get emotional diseases or spiritual diseases is because there is neglect. Um, when I become a trustee, I use. It's not that I put it in the corner and say, this is not mine. No, I use. Because if I don't use, then nothing will ever grow. Also, the other problem was in our success for the trustees to get attached. When the self becomes attached to things, then this purity in the subtlest way disappears. As an instrument, I am trustee of Baba's service. It is not my service. When I get attached, it starts to get polluted by personal needs. And service is not to fulfill my needs. My relationships with Baba and with myself will fulfill my needs in a very non violent way. I'm not concerned with taking. Yes, I can take from him, but then there are no bad consequences. And also, we have this feeling that we are here to serve. Um, Servings, we need to sometimes die, sometimes transform, sometimes love. But when I die, it's not that I suppress, it's I die to the all and the selfish self. And I transform the useless and unnecessary things. I start to have a spiritual love for myself, for Baba, for the family, and for the souls of the whole world. Then that love is able to give nourishment to others. And this we call serve. Only then there is success in the service we do, when there is this pure motivation. When others get the nourishment of this spiritual love, then they are able to transform also and understand more themselves and value themselves. So, love is able to give that gift to others. I have to be in a state of trustship for that to happen. Another aspect of success is the consciousness of I'm here as a guest. This, this is something is going to help us a lot. How do you reconcile going beyond detachment, we could say, and living with the reality of here? This is very interesting challenge. The consciousness of being a guest means that my consciousness is not limited by the needs of the personality, that I want this, so I have to have this. This has to have a solution right now. When I have consciousness of being a guest, then I, the soul, unable to go beyond and connect. And then my consciousness, which is based on thoughts, on feelings, attitudes, and motives, starts to become very spiritual and positive. Otherwise, the soul can be lost in getting annoyed and confused or afraid or angry, whatever. In those situations, can you become a guest? In a situation of confusion or anger or hopelessness? How long? Click, a click. Baba often says that this is how you can have Jivan Mukti, liberation in life, in a second. But do we believe him? It's only when we start practicing these things that we can realize the deeper truth that we are in Baba's directions, and what Baba is saying is in the Murlis. And many things can happen just in a moment, in a second, because I go inside and I let go. I concentrate on the basic, whether it is the original power of peace or power of Baba. In very difficult situations, on whatever level that difficult situations may be, is so important for me to be able to quickly go inside myself and touch base. And the quicker I can do it, the more stability will come in the situation, not only in me, but also in the situation. I could see these days we were with Sudesh Didi. She came to inaugurate this center just last Thursday. And then on Friday morning, we all went to monastery in Barcelona to be in our, traffic control. In our national retreat. And she just stopped like in a moment. And she said Shanti with such a deep feeling, like you could experience. It was not just the greeting. It was the really, I am a soul, I am in the present, I am turned within. And this neutralize many things externally. The vibration was there. It was created in a moment. And we were here on Thursday, like very tired because, when there is a date and you have to do a lot of work because there was renovation of the house we got. So how can that be? Like vibration changes in a moment. Because I can move away from trying to work things out and even judging them. In one moment, I turn within and I am a soul. This is a very useful practice. But we forget. We usually forget. Sometimes what we tend to do is to try to analyze, to find solutions. But very often we just need power. And we don't need a lot of intellectual analysis or exercise. To some extent, yes, of course, but in many things we know already. Even these classes we all have, we know already some of the things. But the success, the point, is to get the power within. How? How to get the power within? This guest consciousness is the practice of going within myself and stabilize in that basis of peace. Because this base of peace and purity is very necessary. The only thing that will refine this and liberate me from waste is the practice of going within quickly and strongly and feeling very connected, because inside the base is purity and peace. And when I experience peace, I go beyond any reaction, which normally is ego reactions, we know, and sometimes angry reactions. Because a lot of fear about something or any dislike, whatever. When I experience purity, then I am not influenced. I am not affected. It's like a canopy of Baba that remains there. And again, we know these things intellectually and theoretically. So, how to check this? What I do is to make it a standard inside myself. As soon as I see myself getting disturbed, I know I'm going the wrong way. Feeling sad, I know it's not the way. Sometimes we realize it after we have done, and we have become so we have taken sorrow from something. But then it's okay, at least now I know the patterns. And it's very, very important to understand how the mind works. This is part of our success. If I just wash the thoughts that are coming from my mind, then it's like saying wash the TV, no? Or wash these video games, but they can be very violent. Hmm? You just cannot wash and be detached. You get influenced by what you watch for too long. So it's important to observe my mind. And I am the king, the soul, observing and seeing these thoughts coming into my mind. It's so easy to get trapped in those thoughts. Sometimes even you don't observe what is coming to the mind, but you get into the emotions straight away. And we really need to observe and then go beyond. This is a practice, it's not something that will happen just like that. We need to practice again and again. Yes, this is happening. I must connect with my original pure self. This is what Baba is saying us every day. And no with the analysis or, how we came, why, what is this Maya, why this person is always talking to me like that. This is, I get trapped. And I get trapped with very good motives because I want to understand what is happening. I don't want to have bad feelings. This is okay. But what I need at that moment is spiritual power. Because what if I understand what is happening? I say, oh, very interesting. But I need a spiritual power to remove this bad feeling so I can connect with the self and with Baba. It sounds easy to say I connect with Baba, but do we connect with him? For success to be an experience, we can keep the basic knowledge, but new and afresh. If we keep it fresh, then it's able to use it. Mm? Like I was saying before, no? Sudesh Didi, Om Shanti. Of course, it depends who says it. But every time I say, are there powerful vibrations when you say it, or it's just a routine phrase? It depends on how I personally use it. And Baba can give me power, but I have to cooperate with him to empower myself by practicing these basic things. And what interferes in the successful practice, you know what it is? Many times it's our intellect. Because sometimes our intellect is overdeveloped. We can know all the answers. We can give classes or do workshops on every topic. And that is very good. But if only I work in that way, then when situations come, and if I haven't had the dharna, then I will not be strong enough to go beyond it. This is why we often lose our self-respect, because we keep doing the same thing very often. I don't like it when I'm doing it and I don't want to do it, but it keeps happening. Yeah, what do we do then? This is why we need to practice these basic things to keep attention on my inner self. Um, this is why we talk about silence, the power of silence. Now, for everything we do to have success, all the service and all the tasks we have, the power of silence is needed. It's not only when I stay inside for an hour or two at tapasya, but just a moment, a drop of really connecting. This is also silence power. If we really practice properly, then there is a feeling of freedom from any waste, even in the atmosphere. One thing that happens when we connect with the original self is we go beyond thinking and we go beyond ideas and opinions. And we don't feel that I have to know this and that in order to succeed for something to work. No. The most beautiful thing that happens when we do this practice of in a moment, we stop and we go, the connecting the original with the original self and with Baba. When really this happens, we develop this deep feeling of trust. And this is success. Because this feeling of trust is like faith. Faith and trust are very much connected. And with the feeling of trust, First of all, I trust drama. It takes a lot of stability to trust the drama, especially when everything externally appears very unbeneficial. We could say this is not success, but if you are stable and you keep your dharna, this is your success. Hmm? Drama is our partner. Is even the partner of Baba. Baba also observes the drama. Baba knows when to step in and when to step out. Baba can also help and add to cooperate with an actor within the drama. And he especially will help and cooperate with his children a lot. He will be able to help that soul change certain scenes of the drama for itself. Not only Baba cooperates with the soul who has real, deep faith and a very clean intention, but drama also starts to cooperate. And when I trust drama, I don't have demands or expectations like this must happen like this now. Trust in drama brings the soul patience. When the soul has patience, then the soul is able to trust the original self that everything I need is in me. Do you believe this? Yes, it's in me. Baba says, face the adverse situations with your original power of the self. So it's in me. When we start to do this, because sometimes the companions are not there, our seniors are not there, many things are not there, and all I have is me and Baba. So, how to use that really? Patience doesn't mean to wait. Patience means to recognize the flow of things, and that moment is best to flow with it. So, patience brings my success. And I also trust Baba. Sudesh Didi was saying these days, Baba needs us as angels. And this is the time of angels. He's creating angels and he needs them, us. So he's definitely going to give the cooperation the soul is asking for. As the soul develops these qualities of being a trustee, of acceptance, faith, so many things, then his relationship, his closeness with Baba is able to become very strong and true. And then the soul is able to move beyond its own needs. It's very important not to be influenced by selfish needs in service. If the service is to be permanent and authentic, a lot of conflicts, mainly in service, is because of the things of mine and yours and all these things that come from that. In Dharna, there is no conflict. If I don't have needs, I won't get into conflicts. I will always have royalty to know when to step back and the signaling from the drama how to step in. So a very important thing to sustain, maintain our success is also encouragement. Very powerful energy, which really helps others to feel that they belong. Mm? To have the experience of belonging to Baba ourselves first, because then we will be able to give others the experience also. But if there is a gap inside, then about how much they belong to Baba and getting that experience, then it's very difficult, no? To engender this belonging in others. Mm? So encouragement is very important. We give encouragement to others that things take time and they need patience to keep believing in themselves. But we also need this encouragement. Um, Maybe there is some question or anything.
Thank you so much. It's so beautiful, really. You have just touched many aspects of success, how we can, really get it on the basis of success. And I don't see any questions so far. If you would like to continue a few minutes more, then you're most welcome. Otherwise, I try to ask you some questions, if it's okay.
Whatever. I
How
can
do you like
continue.
it? How do you like it? You can continue. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yes, today Baba was saying about spirituality in a way, no? Connected with becoming pure. And a very important thing is to learn to spiritualize things, whether it is my my work or a particular talent. Because if we measure success or victory just in how things are for others, but no, how spiritual things are for myself, and then how much spiritual vibrations are giving in what we are presenting to others, then there will be no things that take me away into taking unnecessary support. I think this is very important that I can take wrong supports. And when I start to take the wrong supports, I will not have the feeling of belonging, of that I'm moving forward. Because if I take the support, for example, of the role that I play or any achievement, then where is my support coming from? Usually, you cannot tell the motives at the time you are doing any service. It is usually afterwards. For example, if I have done service and everything seems to be externally well, but I am not happy, I am not content, somehow I am comparing. If there is something that doesn't make me feel content, then it is something in the motive or in the intention. Maybe my motivation or intention was not quite right, and I wasn't aware of it at that moment. So usually we are aware afterwards, normally, no? This is why I have to be very honest, because farther down the track, as the consequence of that motive becomes apparent, it's very important not to project, not to blame onto other people or the situations. because they did this, that they sabotage this or that. No, no, no. One thing that makes me lose my integrity is when I blame things or others. When I do that, I will lose my integrity and I will lose my dynamic of moving because I put all the responsibility on them. Even to blame my old son's scars, I will lose my dynamic. Main thing with motive, without going into details, is that the motive is selfish, is for me. And the ego, sorry, me, when there are selfish motives, they just block. Then there cannot be either generosity or easiness. But when the motives are spiritual, not only success, but there is always easiness. So this is my success. I become easy, no laziness. Easiness is no laziness. It's not a matter of listening to this, it's a matter of mm, as I'm living my day, I'm seeing how I'm living the quality of my living. When I'm seeing the quality of my living, then gradually I'm able to pinpoint things in my personality that create the blocks. Even I explain to you in selfish motives or aggressive feelings, okay, maybe it's like that, but the way I really learn is when I do these things systematically and then I can get to this question of belonging. I belong to Baba as my teacher. Then I can have certain dharma. Otherwise, I will not feel I belong to Baba as my teacher, the one who is truth, because there is no dharma there. I may know about it, I may study, but still there will be that feeling of emptiness. So it's very important not to feel that emptiness or sorrow.
Yeah, great, great. I was just thinking about the what is the sign of success or the measurement of success? How can we measure it or how can we see that? And you just touched a little bit your contentment, your happiness, but maybe just with few words more, you can just talk about that.
What I feel is our stability, not
Mm.
ups and downs. Mm? As we feel more stable, then there is a natural feeling of keeping that silence within. And the soul would like to, something happens, I go within and immerse original good feelings. Then I know there is success. Yes, contentment, Baba says, but internally you know because there are good feelings no matter what. Mm? And when the intellect is with loving feelings, many things can be transcend.